So, fear is simply not just an emotion. Fear is an addiction. It's a habit, it's a mindset where we crave certainty. Now, we all know that fear is something that we feel when we have some uncertainty in our life. But in this video, I'll talk to you about why fear is actually something that goes against conventional knowledge. And it's actually part of our evolutionary biology, which is a mismatch to the modern times that we're in now, and how you can get over that addiction of certainty and embrace love, which is where the uncertainty and miracles happen. So, if you're new to this channel, my name is Dr. Jason Yuan. I like to teach you about the science of integrative medicine, spirituality, and self help. And really, in this video, fear is one of those perplexing emotions that we all have, right? It's good because it drives us to do things that helps us grow, but also it can be not so good, right? If it limits us, if it prevents us from taking the actions, from speaking out, from doing the things that our heart, our mind, our soul really wants us to do. And when someone said that fear is an addiction to certainty, it really changed my entire perspective of looking at fear and looking at fear in the way of putting context to it, right? So, if fear is an addiction to certainty, what does that mean? That means your body, physically, emotionally, and mentally, craves certainty. Why? Because in evolutionary biology, right, we were trained to survive, right? So, if there's a guarantee that you can survive and not have to worry about food, not have to worry about shelter, and live and reproduce, that generally is a good thing. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that is a complete mismatch to our modern times where most of us, thankfully, don't have to worry about food, don't have to worry about shelter. And fear in this context comes in the light of our social and our career in terms of our human potential of what we want to be and what we want to grow into, right? So when you look at fear as an addiction to certainty, you have to look on the other side, right? Now we know, like, okay, our life is set, food, shelter, that's good. What is the uncertain part that we are actually afraid of? And that uncertain part is connected back to that certainty, which is if you're going to fail, right, what's going to happen? You're not going to have a roof over your head. You're not going to have food to eat, right? You're going to be homeless. And the biggest part of all is now the social context, right? Because nowadays, social media, friends and family, they will have a certain judgment on you, okay? And that social judgment, right, that social criticism is almost more worse than the worst physical outcomes of like dying of hunger and, being outside with no shelter, is because it has such a big emotional impact on us, right? So that fear of uncertainty is causing us to not take the actions, the steps that we want to do. Okay. So this translates into how do we transform that awareness? Number one, right? Because everything comes from awareness. And number two, what do we do from that so that we can actually take the steps, the actions that helps us move forward from this fear and move in the direction of uncertainty, which is where all miracles come from. With your awareness, what you want to do when you feel this fear in your body, right? Because it is very physiological. It'll increase your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, which will raise your blood pressure, right? It'll change different biochemical signature markers in your body. But the key thing to understand that your awareness is what creates this physical reaction. As I talk about in energy medicine, right? Your thoughts and your emotions, they produce energy. And this energy also influences our physical body. So when you look at fear and you flip the script of it, right? When you change fear from an addiction to certainty, become addicted to uncertainty. Okay, so that's a different habit. And this is where following your passion will usually lead us, right? Usually, following your passion means taking the step, walking the pathless path, as they say, into a direction of the unknown, which no one has done before, but this is why you're here, right? This is how you grow. So, how do we change fear into passion where we have an addiction to uncertainty? And really, the key thing is you have to follow your heart. There's a great saying, by, a lot of spiritual teachers that say, follow your passion. But that's not good enough, right? You have to be also passionate about being passionate, which is one a spiritual teacher talks about. So when you're passionate about being passionate, you have that fire, you have that fuel for yourself when you move into that uncertainty, because you will know, your physical body will tell you, right away. You'll get tense, your jaw will tense up, your body will, just feel that heightened cortisol and higher blood pressure when you feel that fear. But having that passion, right, having that fire, that drive from your heart, knowing that this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, knowing that this is who you are as a human being, that is the light that gets you through this darkness, this fear. Okay, so this is why being passionate is so important, right? Because just having passion will give you a certain direction, right? Will give you a compass in terms of walking towards that direction. But when you're passionate about being passionate, now you are walking the talk, right? Now you are actually feeling good about pursuing your passion. Now you know that, simply acting on your passion will create these hormones, will create these neurotransmitters, will make your body feel heightened alert and motivated to keep going forward, which is really what is needed for growth, right? Growth can happen in two ways, as I say. It's either you control your destiny, you control your life, you make decisions that move yourself through these obstacles, or life will find a way to pull the rug underneath you and show all of the things that you need to work on to let go in order to grow, right? So, you have the choice from there. But really, when you're passionate about being passionate, it is an addiction to uncertainty, because that is the game, right? That is the game of life. It would be very boring if you knew the entire script of life, if you knew exactly what you were going to do the next day, the next month, the next year, and you would end up at, a certain finish line. Versus, again, in a storybook, in a movie, in the hero's journey, right? You don't know if the hero, you, is going to succeed or fail, right? Are they going to learn their lessons and apply the lessons they've learned to overcome the certain challenge? Or are they going to get stuck on their, flaws, on their defects, and continuing have to going through the cycle of relearning these lessons and hopefully applying them, right? So that's up to you. And this is why flipping the script on fear, right? Instead of being addicted to certainty, the certainty of you being in this certain place where it's safe, where it's cozy, where you have food, shelter, and you have all your needs met, right? To being addicted to uncertainty. And the uncertainty is where the magic happens, right? Because I believe in, again, in energy, right? When there is uncertainty, that uncertainty actually is unlimited potential, right? Because we are spiritual beings living in this human body. Okay, we are vibrational beings. So your thoughts, your emotions create and give off a certain vibration. When you are addicted to uncertainty, when you are allowing the universe to say, hey, I'm here, I have a certain direction I want to go, I want to walk in this certain direction, please give me the best possible plan. Please give me the best possible blueprint in order to get there. And of course, the universe won't share with you that entire blueprint, but it will give you breadcrumbs along the way with each step that you take. The universe is not going to throw you breadcrumbs if you're stuck in that same place, if you're stuck in your same, living situation, your same job situation, your same relationship situation. Why would the universe do that knowing that you won't make the steps in order to do it, right? As everything goes, whatever you put out there in the world, it comes back to you. So you really have to meet the universe halfway, right? You take the step and the universe will respond to you positively, like, hey, I see you are making the steps. Here's a breadcrumb. Follow these hints, follow the synchronicity, right? So that is why an addiction to uncertainty, flipping that script, is so amazing, right? Because you unlock this unlimited potential that your mind and your brain can't think of, right? Because sometimes when we think of our best plan for our life, our best trajectory, it's usually not the best, right? It's usually um, minimal compared to the grand, amazing plan the universe really does have for us, right? And that's why trusting in the uncertainty, being addicted to it, is where the miracles happen. Because in any great movie, in any great book, the hero's journey usually involves certain miracles, right? And the miracles come from trusting in the unknown. But again, you are following your heart, you are following your soul, your spirit, wherever it's guiding you, and you're following that path and you're trusting that it will work out despite, logically and emotionally, it might not make sense to other people or yourself at that given moment. Okay? So, in summary, this video is all about changing your mindset and looking that fear is really an addiction to certainty. And by flipping the script, by being passionate about following your passion, and by having an addiction to uncertainty, because that's what creates great movies, and that would create a really great hero's journey for yourself. This is where you transform your life. This is where you make that quantum leap into that person, into that being that you always knew you had inside of yourself, and you will finally unlock it, right? And it's really up to you. As I've said, whatever you put out there into the universe, either words, thoughts, actions, it comes back to you. So if you take that first step, the universe will always meet you halfway. But sometimes you kind of have to keep going, right? So that's why being passionate and being really serious about what you're doing, proving to the universe, like, hey, I want to do this, the universe will always reflect that back to you. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, please give me a like and comment. How did this video resonate with you? And did the concept of fear being an addiction to certainty kind of jolt your mindset on things? And how are you going to frame and use the mindset of being addicted to uncertainty, right? Which is where the miracles happen. How is that going to look like in your life, right? Because it's easy to talk the talk, but when it comes to walking the walk, that is where the real challenge comes in. That's where the rubber meets the road, and that's where all of us are. Okay. And thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, join the community, and I'll hope to see you in the next video.